to them. So we have to look at that. You saw parents, participating, that fathers impregnating. You found, relatives, within, teachers. You saw so many. So like, to keep them the status.
How
and
is that? Okay.
Also to be mindful that traffickers during lockdown, they also change their business model.
Oh, that is true.
They go online. So our children are studying online, and to warn parents that when your child is online, who are they communicating with? Because now children have phones, smartphones. You have to know who are engaging with them. Recruitment for trafficking has gone on social media. Many people are recruited through social media, and the trends are: it is your friends, relatives of your friends. Your relatives are the ones recruiting you, telling you about the opportunities. So to be able to really inform the public on what is going on and the trends so that they are aware.
In your preamble, you've talked about matters of gender. How is this related to internal affairs? I would think, in my own understanding, that these are matters to do with Ministry of Gender and Labor, Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. How is this connected to internal affairs?
That's a very great question. This, the Prevention of Trafficking Persons Act, this one here, it was put into force, 2009. Okay. And matters of human trafficking or migration cut across ministries. That's why you find that there's internal trafficking and also external trafficking. So it created this office to monitor, coordinate activities. So Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development licenses recruitment agencies to export labor. So if things are moving smoothly, I don't come in.
Okay.
But if it is touching on prevention of trafficking, that Ugandans are being exploited, it becomes part of my agenda.
Okay.
Because Section 21 of this act gives us that responsibility. That if something is wrong, that's why you find that, when companies are suspended, it's my responsibility, for example, to let Ugandans know that don't go to these companies until they clean house. Okay. Yes. So it is them who recruit, who license, monitor, and people move. That's why you find that Ministry of Internal Affairs, Immigration, when you get a passport, you facilitate you to move. But we also make sure that, because traffickers use fraudulent documents, that is the passport, the right one. When you go to immigration control, they ask you questions. Do you have, because if gender is licensed, if the recruitment agencies have gone, do you have a contract? Because there are some people who don't go within, the majority who are trafficked actually don't go through recruitment agencies. So to find a certain, that's why you find Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development sends those lists, for example, to the airport, such that when you come, that you're traveling to go to work, the immigration officer has a list, security has those lists, so there's due diligence. Okay. And companies have to work, organizations. So when you go abroad, then foreign affairs comes in.
So that's where you make me think or understand that there's a mutual understanding or relationship between Ministry of Gender and Ministry of Internal Affairs. It is now coming to a month. You did suspend. I know our entire discussion was supposed to zero on trafficking, but I think this is also important. It's now coming to a month when some companies, I don't know whether their licenses were cancelled. I don't know whichever word. Some think they were simply cancelled because they didn't have. Why did you come up, or why did you have to disqualify some of these external documents? Now,
I'm not the one, or it's not Internal Affairs, not my office, which suspended. So like I said, Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development licenses. So if it's like getting a license. For example, if you submit forgeries, then no one will give you that license. If you're not going by the rules, because there are regulations and what, and maybe you're taking money from which is not in law, and people are paying money and they are being exploited, then Ministry of Gender and Labor and Social Development does that. My responsibility is that I was given a list. So because prevention is very key. Because if a company is not licensed, you have no business going to that company. And the list keeps, because the list keeps, some people come into the game, others come out. So it is me that don't go to these ones. Because if anything happens, those are the people who come to my office. Yes, we don't have a lot of money to bring back Ugandans. Okay. So it's like, before you go, because by the time they don't license you or they suspend your license, it means there's something wrong.
Okay, I think because actually we should have had the spokesperson of the UERA, which is the Association of External Recruitment Agencies, but because they're going through a process with Ministry of Health, I hope you are aware, that's why of course it wasn't possible for us to find them before this discussion. So let's now look at the state of the labor exportation, the whole labor export business in general. Its status as we talk right now.
In my opinion,
definitely.
The thing is, there's nothing wrong with the labor export. Actually, there are over 200 registered companies.
Okay.
So we are talking about 8 which are suspended. The rest are doing good work.
But you see
Unless, yes, that's what I'm saying.
People benefit from the 8.
Yes, that's why we are saying, yes, there are others. So don't just rely on the 8. Yes, that until it is put right, there's a reason why the 8 are not in the game. But they can clean house and come back. So until Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development says these are the ones, because there are others. You go to the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, and get that. So there's, first of all, recruitment agencies do great work to support Ugandans to get jobs abroad, because as you may know, is that unemployment is very, very rampant.
Okay.
So, and there's nothing wrong with actually going abroad to work. It's not the first time that Ugandans are going abroad. I've lived abroad before.
It's never the last time.
It's not. It's the only thing why it is creating a lot of excitement is because it is involving women and it is involving domestic work. And domestic work in some countries or in some people minimize it. I'll give you an example. In our homes, the way we treat our domestic workers or house girls, not the same way we may treat the shamba boy who cuts flowers. Many times you may even you'll even pay him more. You think housework is not work.
And it actually, there's a lot of work.
It is a lot. You try it one day during this lockdown. Let the men try.
I'm used to it. I do it.
Yes, but you see, it is not easy. So you appreciate when your house help does some work. So now internationally, because women are moving and because they stay in homes, because unlike me and you come to work, you know that at the end of the day, even if your boss is difficult to
but way more of the women. Actually, when I look at the report,
because domestic work is dominated by women. It is women. It's culturally.
I think that's. I perceive that as just perception.
Yes, and yet there's nothing wrong with it. Men also do. I'll give you an example. For example, if men are cooking, they'll call them chef.
I don't know why.
Hey, chef, and the money is increased. Hey, they pay chefs more. I'm a chef. But when it is women, you're cooking. You're a house girl. They don't know that even the cooking itself.
Okay.
So even words matter. That's why we call house girls, and not even because they are domestic workers. One time I was speaking to some people and they said that, these people are moving. Some of them can't even speak English. But who told you that only people who speak English are the ones to migrate?
That's why I say these are matters of perception.
Yeah, perception.
Which we must migrate from.
We need to clean the sector, that women have a right to go and work, but they want to go in dignity. I have 30 survivors of human trafficking who are, by the way, my advisors.
Okay.
And they voiced those things. Many of them who are moving have children. They've been abandoned with children. The men in their lives, they say, are no longer taking what everybody is moving because they want to take care of children. So if men, or if we go back to the family values we had, that it takes a village to bring up children, maybe our women will not be moving in large numbers now.
Okay, maybe we need to connect back to the viewers. Kali, basema ni banyabo tuli mukuba tochi mu nsonga Ministry ya Internal Affairs nga mchala Agnes wategezeza ekwadaganya mu Ministry ya Gender, Labor and Social Development ku nsonga of course za baganda baffe. Tulina baganda baffe abagende bweru nakugangenda bweru nomugamba ogenda na company kinti X, Y and Z. Ogenda okwesanga ayise Kenya, ayise ku mazzi akukusiddwa olugendo yanimazeeko olunaku olumu nakugamba nti amaze weeks 2 nomugaba weeks 2 obadde otambula kiso tulina trafficking naye Madam Agnes atuyamba of course mu report ezimu zebafulumya weeks nga 2 batulaga nti abakyala bitundu by'abakyala nze zimu ku percentage esinga okutwala ebweru naye ate n'embeera y'abakozi abali mitundu ebyebweru yo nga ministry eri mu kukola ki. So that's what we are trying to make sense of. So tutunulie let's now dig further into your mandate as Minister of Internal Affairs.
So my mandate, the mandate of my office is ingrained in Section 21 of this Act. So when the Act, Section 21, gives the Minister of Internal Affairs to create an office to monitor, coordinate, and oversee the implementation.
Monitor, coordinate, and oversee.
So in that monitoring and coordination, it means that you're working with other agencies. That's why you find that the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Internal Affairs, heads the task force, which falls under that what? My office. I am the deputy. And so that task force has about 13 MDAs. It has Foreign Affairs, it has its Office of the Prime Minister, Refugee, because they are also vulnerable.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Internal Security Organization, External Security Organization, because it's an underground crime, you need intelligence, because even victims don't know that they are being exploited.
You should actually be performing more than, I see a lot of security agencies under that department. But you should be performing better than where you are.
What do you mean performing better? That's why we are raising this issue. Why is it causing a lot of why am I in this studio?
You're here to educate.
Yes, and because you got to know that, hey, so we work hand in hand. Ministry of Foreign Affairs, because those are our embassies abroad.
Okay.
A Directorate of Citizenship and Immigration Control, they man the borders, but they have also started sending immigration attaches, to missions abroad to support, Ugandans who are abroad distressed and there are mixed flows.
Okay.
Ministry of Local Government, there is internal trafficking in this country. Before we point fingers, there are domestic workers in this country, house girls, who are suffering. No one comes to your home, for example, to ask your house girl.
I thought trafficking would be from one country to the other.
No.
And the
biggest here. I have just returned, from Chotera.
You see, how is that possible? You came here to educate and inform the people.
Yes.
How is internal trafficking?
Now, internal trafficking, there's domestic servitude, whereby, somebody, mostly from coming to our homes to work as domestic workers, but they end up being exploited. Some people are not paid. Some people are sexually exploited by the people in there.
Okay.
And long working hours in our homes. Okay. Then there is, in our law, there's removal of organs, just not for transplant, but also for witchcraft. Okay. So when you find that Basa Daka Abana, witchcraft, rituals, sacrifice, all that falls under our law.
Okay.
There is child marriage. It is too much. I went to Chotera. They tell me that is the biggest challenge, they have in there.
This is still under your docket?
Yes, under our docket.
You
so
seem
it's not
to be consuming a lot of things.
So it's not because the excitement is about people going abroad. The reason why also, because the internal victims, they may not have the leverage to talk about their issues more than the people going abroad. People going abroad have access to social media, for example. They will send a message.
So are internal people.
Yes, but sometimes in our homes, our house girls, it is rare.
Maybe there's no platform of me coming out and saying.
That's why I'm telling them, come out. I'm telling them that this is their docket as well. Forced labor, use of children in child labor, use of children or people to commit crime. Children in the street who are begging and other people are benefiting from them. That's all under it. Slavery, anything related to slavery is in there. So it's not just sexual exploitation in bars, Echiman's law, all that is under there. And by the way, much as people, Ugandans are going abroad, there are also people abroad who they lie to that their jobs in Uganda. Then they are trafficked in Uganda. So it's not just a Ugandan affair, it's a global challenge. Every country has trafficking.
Maybe it's a new concept that some people out there are still. So now let's look at the Uganda to Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, external trafficking.
Actually, the highest, the second highest number, when we are issuing the report, the people from Kenya trafficked. We have, for example, children from Karamoja who have been trafficked to Kenya for domestic servitude, house girls, and now as far as Somalia, which is very worrying. Okay? So we have children. And when I went to Karamoja, it was very disturbing because what I realized is children who are taking care of adults. Children are taking care of adults. I was shocked.
Children or adolescents?
Children, they are the ones who do the herding. It is the women who build homes. Actually, I was told, I even asked the gentleman, is this true? That the man, as long as you pay bride price.
So which age brackets are you talking about?
When you children from 10, 11, 12, because the child is below 18, 16. So that's why you find even child marriage, 16-year-olds. That is cows to people. Before, when we used to grow up, it took a village to take care of it. Now it is children taking care of what? I was even told the biggest number of how people are enticed into recruitment. If a girl comes back and comes out of a bus and brings out a mattress, saucepans, has a phone, that's now exciting everybody else to travel. Those are basic needs.
But where would now a Kalamojong report? In terms of yes, I know you a ministry that operates everywhere. So where would the Kalamoja run to? I am privileged now, that I'm next to your office, so I have the privilege to walk.
Now that's why I'm saying we work hand in hand, because police is everywhere. That's why we get even cases of traffic. Even when we write the report, you report to a police station. Okay. The challenges there. In Karamoja, elders. Because they even brought elders, by the way, they brought them to Kampala to see the situation in which the street kids live. They were shocked because also they lied to them that, children have come to Kampala and all that. So they also have now, they are organizing their bylaws. So it's some districts. So there are district administrations. I just came from Chotel. I met the LC5. I met the technocrats with district level. That, since we have a task force at national level, how do we channel that down? I went to Arua. Because now to organize that, how do you coordinate as stakeholders? And now there's also ODPP, Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. Now that they are working hand in hand with the police, that from the, you get the file and all that, it is fantastic. Now they have a forum in which they coordinate. That's why you find that there are now more cases, going to court. People are reporting. I am speaking more. And even today, I was speaking to a victim of trafficking. Who at police. Then I spoke to even at police at Ginger Road, reporting a case, because it is important. When I spoke to the 30 victims, survivors of human trafficking, they also, because they advised me, they said, I taught them the law, because it is also telling them that, this law protects you. Then they realize that, hey, I even have evidence, I have cases, they just need to be supported, because they pry on the ignorance of the people.
Madam Agnes, I need to give you a break. Meanwhile, I must also take a break, but when we come back, we'll be making sense of course, Madam Agnes atugambye nti waliwo enjawulo ya abantu abatwalibwa ebweru n'abakusibwa. Enjawulo y'ebyo eririddawa, that and more after the break.
Okay.